Hey guys, welcome to today's video. I am excited because it's summer, y'all. I love summer. I love summer makeup. I love that I don't have to work because I'm a teacher. I love going to the beach, to the pool. I love summer. I love summer and I love makeup. So we are here to blend the two together today. I am here with a new tag where we are going to talk about the best sun-kissed eyeshadow palettes. This is a collaboration tag. I am going to tell you all about my collaborator in a moment, but if you're new, hello and welcome. My name is Kelly and I love all things makeup and beauty. I love talking, I love makeup, I love talking about makeup. If you like to chat about makeup too, if you love summer, if you love makeup, if you love eyeshadow palettes, this is the place for you. We're gonna go ahead and jump into the video. We are here to talk about the best sun-kissed eyeshadow palettes. I did mention that this tag was created in collaboration with my friend Stacy. She is XOXO Stacy on Instagram and YouTube. Of course, I'm going to have her channel listed down below. I got the pleasure of meeting Stacy for the first time in Vegas at the Creators and Friends holiday event. We hit it off. We've kept in contact since, and Stacy also owns like a photography, graphic design, media marketing business. I'm gonna have that listed and posted down below as well because she actually helped me out when I was trying to rebrand KBellaBeauty with my new intro and exit and my new banner on my page. So if you are looking for someone to kind of help you out in like the creative design aspect, Stacy is a great one to do for that. I have really enjoyed getting to know her, and she approached me and asked if I was interested in doing a summer eyeshadow tag with her. And I was like, yes, girl, but all of the credit goes to her. Okay, I contributed like one or two questions. I like helped pick out the title, but she is the creative brains behind this operation. I am so excited to do this collab with her. Again, I'm gonna have everything listed down below, but we are here to answer 9 questions together, and we're gonna talk about some makeup. I have a huge stack here in front of me, so let's jump in. All of these questions are following a summer theme. So question number 1 is a palette that works well for summer, even though it is like the complete opposite with its design theme. So not necessarily marketed as a summer palette, but like it's a summer palette, right? So I chose the Unearthly Heather Austin collab. This is the Resurgence palette. And when I think of summer, I think of golden tones, I think of bright colors, like I think of tropical makeup, and I don't necessarily think of like this deep dark packaging, these little beetles, Resurgence, like it feels very deep and vampy to me. But y'all, when you open up this beautiful eyeshadow palette here, like look at these pops of color. Yes, you have deep, you have dark, you have vampy, you have smoky, but y'all, you can create a beautiful sunset eye if you dip into like these bright shades right here. You can mix the pink and red in. You have this neutral type of shade. It's like a purple neutral shade. You have Life, which you can go into, which is very bright, a super duper bright green shade right here. So although this palette is deep and dark and vampy, and it does have a little bit of like a deeper color story to it, not one that I necessarily think of right off the bat for summer, but when I was looking through my eyeshadow palettes and trying to pull out palettes that I think would fit each of these categories, I was like, you know what? I have created some really bright, fun, colorful looks with this, and I think this palette would be a good one. I think it would be a contender for a summer palette, even though it's a little bit deeper and darker. I do have videos with most of these palettes that I'm going to talk about, so those will be listed in the description box down below. But number 2 is a summer palette that will never go out of style. So it's an oldie but a goodie, and I have talked about this palette over and over again on my channel. It's one that I feel like fits many seasons. I feel like it fits many different events or situations that you might need to do your makeup for. Like, it's just all around a great palette, and I, of course, am talking about the Sydney Grace Tiny Marvels palette. This was a collaboration between the late Mel Thompson. She did an amazing job here. This palette came out many years ago. I don't actually remember when, but I have dipped into this and used this in spring, in summer, in fall, in winter, when I'm doing something day to day, like going to the store, going out with friends, or if I have an event, like I'm going out for date night or something. This palette is so versatile, but again, I'm looking for like rich gold shades. We have BB. Firebutts is more of like a green gold, but I love it. We also have bright pops of color like Jewel Bee and Mantis. We have Flutterby. These shades just screams summer to me. This is a classic palette. I think Mel and Sydney Grace did such a great job with this one. I'm so glad that we have a piece of Mel with us still. And the really awesome thing about Sydney Grace is that they do still have this palette. They still sell this palette to this day. And I do believe that a portion of the proceeds go to Mel's family, which I think is really amazing. So an amazing brand, amazing quality, amazing color story, and overall just a great palette. Okay, so being that I'm a teacher, this was like the question that I contributed, right? I do a lot of my traveling. My husband and I, we do a lot of our traveling in the summer when we're off. So I thought of like a travel-friendly eyeshadow palette. One that you feel like you can grab and go. You're on the go. You're going to the beach. Maybe you're taking an Alaskan cruise. It doesn't matter. Like, what palette are you going to throw in the bag and take with you? So for me, I had to pick a travel-friendly palette that I felt like was compact and small, but would give me like summer tropical vibes as well. I had to go with the Nomad Air palettes. Nomad just recently released 3 of these, and while I think they all would be great for travel, I definitely want to spotlight the Abu Dhabi one because this is the one that has much more of like that warmer, almost like sunset vibes in the color shades. You have these that are more like mauve and rose, but then you have these down here that are just definitely warmer, and you have the bronze, and it's bright, but it's easy to travel with. You can create a couple fun looks with it. The quality is great on the Nomad Cosmetics eyeshadow palettes. I really, really enjoy the formula. I love that you get a little mirror in here, and you know, it is cardboard packaging, but you have a little bit of that magnetic closure right there. Can you see? So it's going to stay put in your bag, but I also don't feel bad traveling with it because I don't feel like it's gonna break. With some of my palettes, I'm afraid that I'm gonna break them when I'm traveling. And so this is easy. I can throw it in my bag, I can travel with it, and I can create some fun summer looks like while I'm on the go. Question number 4 is the most underrated palette that no one talks about is amazing. And we are thinking like summer vibes here. So I was like, okay, I'm a neutral girly. I have pops of color in my collection, right? And typically it would be spring and summer when I would pull out these pops of color. But what do I think is an eyeshadow palette that would be great and summer friendly? Like, it's a great palette, but it's underrated and I don't hear people talking about it. And honestly, y'all, I had to go with like these Sigma dessert quads. I'm definitely in my mini palette era. Okay, I love a quad, I love 5 pans, I love the 6 pans, I love a 9 pan. Like, I am in my smaller eyeshadow palette era, although not all of these are going to be smaller. But these Sigma dessert quads, there are so many of them. The ones that I think would be great for summer, one would be peach pie. I no longer have peach pie in my collection because when I got these in PR, I offered one to my best friend Smags, and that was the one that she felt like she got along with the most. So I was willing to part with it. Peach pie, I think, would be a great one for summer. I also think if you like more of like, I don't know, burgundy or like rosy vibes, I think this one right here in Bonbon would be a good one to go for. Creme Brulee, if you're looking for like the traditional gold, right? Like, we have this beautiful gold shade in Caramelized. You also have more of a satin in Custard. Like, this is gonna give you your traditional gold shade. But if you do like more of like cooler vibes, right? And you want more of a cool toned, smaller palette, we have this Sigma Tiramisu is a great one. Now, these other two, I wouldn't necessarily say like scream summer to me, but to show them to you, there is this one right here in Caramel Apple, which gives me more of like fall vibes with the green. And then if you're like a smoky, if you want a smoky vibe, then you have this one in Blueberry Parfait with this beautiful chilled shade. I like to take the matte blueberry and like put it all over the lid and top it with chilled, and it's just very deep and dark and vibrant. I don't really hear people talking about these quads ever. Like, I don't hear people referencing them in videos. I don't hear like my friends in real life talking about them or throwing them in the bag. But if you are someone like me who you're in your neutral era, you are in your quick and easy era, you are in your smaller eyeshadow palette era, like these are great. I love the Sigma quality. I love the way that you can just throw these in your, like I could throw these in my purse. I have a big purse. Maybe you have a small purse. I don't know. But you can throw these with you. The way that these are set up, y'all, like you have a lighter matte shade, you have a deeper matte shade, you have a very bright bold shimmer, and then you have like more of a satin shimmer. Like, hello, that is amazing. So these are underrated. I love them. I think they're like 19 bucks, and y'all, if you're in the market, I recommend them. Number 5 speaks to my soul. If all you could wear is neutrals for the summer, what palette would you choose? Well, the thing is, I wear neutrals all of the time. Hello. Hi, my name is Kelly. I love neutrals. But if I had to like look through my palette and pick one, like one palette all June, July, and August, the only one I could dip into. I am going to need some options. So we're gonna go on the flip side from a small palette and talk about Lunar Beauty Laura Lee Los Angeles, the Full Fantasy Collab. This is a large one, y'all. Okay, we have 3 rows of 6, so 18 shades. But the thing that I love about this one, okay, we have the traditional golds in here. We have some bright pops. We also have these like deeper berry shades. You wanna smoke it out, you can smoke it out. You want a pop of blue. I love this airy shade. If pink is more your style, Full Fam is great. You also have these like deeper shades down here if you're looking for like a deeper neutral. Like this is just an amazing, beautiful palette. There are a few pops of color in there, but like this is a neutral palette, y'all. This is a neutral palette. You have everything from light to deep. You have those golds that I'm looking for in the summertime personally, and as a neutral girly, like I love this palette. I love the quality. I have not tried Laura Lee Los Angeles eyeshadow palettes, but I have tried Lunar Beauty. This feels like the great Lunar Beauty formula that I know and love. There's a beautiful mirror in here. This was limited edition, so I'm not sure if you can get it any longer, but like if someone came to me and said, my daughter is very into the 3 marker challenge. Okay, it's a thing for her. So if someone came to me and said, we're doing the 1 palette challenge, like you can only wear 1 palette for all of July, this is what I'm gonna pick. Okay, so if I'm being perfectly honest here, number 6 was a little tricky for me. It's the Best Summer Companion Palette. So when I'm thinking of a companion palette, oftentimes I'm thinking of a palette that I wouldn't traditionally use on its own alone, but one that I would have to pull in something else to use that eyeshadow palette for. The problem is, with my personal taste and how I like to do my makeup, I don't really reach for or own companion palettes. I like to be able to pick one eyeshadow palette, create a full look with it. I want to be able to do everything from setting my eyeshadow primer to highlighting the inner corner. I want to have options. Like I need my palette to be all encompassing. I'm not someone that typically mixes my eyeshadow palettes. But in thinking about a palette that if I were to mix, if I needed a companion palette, now that I've gotten PR recently from a couple brands, if I were to get a bright and colorful eyeshadow palette, what palette would I use as a companion to those bright colors? And I had to go with the ABH Soft Glam palette. This is not a new palette. It's newer to me. I've gotten it, I don't know, a couple years ago. I think that this would be a great companion palette to any palette. Now it's summertime, right? So this would be the time that I personally would reach into like bright, vibrant colors. So I was thinking if I had a colorful palette, if I was reaching into like my new Nomad Florida Keys Beachy Peachy palette and I needed something extra, what would I reach for? And honestly, a lot of times I do reach in here for Tempera. It's a great shade if I'm looking for something that's gonna set my eyeshadow primer but give me more of a satin and no chunks of glitter or glimmer. You do also have a ton of matte shades here. You have a deep black, and then you just have like basic neutral shades, right? So Orange Soda has been a fan favorite for years to like blend out. You have some beautiful bright shimmers on the top. This bronze shade is gorgeous. So if I had a colorful palette and like I needed something to pull in with it, this is probably most likely the palette that I would be reaching for. Number 7 is one summer makeup release you don't think you can pass up. And y'all, I could not pass this one up. I feel like I've gotten pretty good at passing up makeup that doesn't maybe feel like it has a purpose in my collection. Not to say makeup that I don't want, because I do pass up makeup that I want all of the time. But there was one release. I saw it instantly and I was like, yes, you will be mine. And it was the Natasha Denona Golden Palette. I knew the second I saw this. This had Kelly written all over it. This had summer written all over it. This is basic. Someone made a comment to me recently, I don't remember who, but they said, oh, that palette just seemed kind of boring and basic. Yes, 100%. Tons of browns, tons of golds, very basic. That is what I love, okay? I love basic. I love golds. I love browns. This is what I love. So I knew I was gonna get it. I couldn't pass on it. I love Natasha Denona. I love the Natasha Denona quality. I love the formula. I knew that I needed it, and here we go. It made it to my collection. Okay, so question number 5 was specifically about wearing a neutral eyeshadow palette. But now we come down to question number 8, and that is if you could only use one palette. It doesn't have to be neutral, just one palette in general for summer. What would it be and why? And this palette, I knew instantly when Stacy reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to do like a summer eyeshadow palette tag video? I was like, yes. And I knew instantly that there was one palette that I have been loving, and I was going to talk about it no matter what the question was. Like if I had to make up a question for this palette, I would have. Stacy came up with this question, but if it were me, I was gonna make up a question for this palette, and there are many, many places I could have placed it. It's this one from Adept, and Amy loves. I love this eyeshadow palette. I think it is absolutely stunning. I love the Adept formula. I first tried the Adept formula when Heather Austin collaborated with them, and I fell in love with the shimmers. I think the mattes are great too, but the shimmers are really what do it for me. They're shifty, they're pigmented, they're sparkly, they're beautiful. Absolutely stunning, and I really, really have fallen in love with this palette. This lavender shade, I've raved about it a ton. It is absolutely like the love of my life. Like lavender should be named Kelly. So Amy and Adept, if y'all want to change that, like I'm totally fine with it. Just kidding, just kidding. But I love, love, love the lavender shade. I love this caramel shade. I love Lights Up and pink for the inner corner. I love Pisces and Indie if you're looking for something deeper. The quality is amazing. The shimmers are stunning. You get this beautiful mirror here, and I am a neutral girly. I am a neutral girly. Some people may say this is a neutral palette. For me, it's spunky, okay? It's like neutral spunky. But if I could only pick one palette for the summer to use, it would be this one. And y'all, I could create a ton of fun looks with this. I already have, and I could do so much more. Question number 9. I do not consider myself to be a creative person. I don't feel like I'm very creative in the sense of like putting things together. I'm not good with interior design. Like that's not my specialty. So question number 9 was a challenge for me, and it was if you could design your own palette, what would it look like and why? Here's the thing. It would be neutrals because that is me. So Stacy and I talked about like going into different shades that we already have in our collection and kind of putting it into one cohesive palette. And I went back and forth and I was like, ooh, do I do a 6 pan? Do I do a 9 pan? Like, what do I do? I think I ended up picking 10 shades. Is that right? So I feel like I picked 10 shades and I wrote 9 down, but I do have some swatches I'm gonna show you. So we're just gonna hope that I get them all. I am going to do like some just messy, quick swatches while we're talking about each of the shades that I picked and why. And then I will do like a swatch of what the palette looked like on my arm, and hopefully I don't miss anything. So I mentioned that I like to set my eyeshadow primer, right? Like I need a shade that's going to set it. I prefer something that's almost more of a satin, not a flat matte, but a flat matte will do. I love the shade Tempura. It's boring, it's basic, but you know what? It's not a flat matte. It's like a very creamy type of shade, and I love this one to set my eyeshadow primer because it does a little bit of like mattifying, setting things in place, but also a little bit of highlighting. So definitely have to have Tempura in there. So I just got done telling you how much I love the Adept Amy Loves lavender shade. So y'all, no surprise there. Like if it were up to me, Amy, I would have to have this in my palette because I just love it so much, or I would have to like, you know, create one very similar because it's beautiful, it's stunning, it's shifty, it's gorgeous, it's bright. So this is definitely a must for me. I mean, come on. The swatches don't even do it justice, but I would definitely have to have lavender in my own palette. When I was building my own palette, I went with shimmers first. So I'm just gonna continue to do that here. And then I picked some mattes that I thought would go with my shimmers because that's the highlight for me. So another Adept palette, again, my friend Heather Austin collaborated with Adept as well. And I love this shade Austin. And I was reaching into Austin because I wanted a little bit of like a green shift, like green and purple. I'm trying to press it very gently because I love the shift and shimmer, but it is, my Austin is a little crumbly. I don't know if it's from other people touching it or not. You love it? You love this shade or this palette? You love the whole palette? Yes, Brielle, my daughter, loves the whole palette. So this shade Austin, they look very similar, I feel like, on camera, but they are definitely different. We have Lavender, which is more of the purple shift, and then Austin is more of like the green shift. So depending on the matte shade that you choose to go with that shimmer, it's gonna pull out those different colors that are in the shadows, and absolutely love it. Sticking with shimmers, this is a newer palette to me, but I definitely fell in love with the shimmer and I think it would be a great one. This is from the Nomad Cosmetics Oslo palette, the Nomad Air, and I really love this democratic design right here. It's more of like a cool toned, like rosy taupey, like a taupey rose. Rosy taupe? Taupey rose? I don't know, but I love it. These swatches are not doing it justice. Like, you will see better swatches at the end, but I just kind of wanted you to like get a glimpse as I'm talking about each of these, but I really love democratic design. We need a gold, right? I need a gold. We need a gold. So I knew that my golden palette would have a gold for me, and I chose this one right here in Aurum, maybe. I wanted something that was gonna give me like gold, but not be too yellowy, if that makes sense. So I felt like this one would be a good one. It's more of like kind of a rich bronzy type of gold, and I feel like those shades just look beautiful on me, so I had to go with a gold. So then I went in and I picked some mattes. I needed mattes to go with it, and I wanted different mattes to go kind of with different shimmers, right? I felt like with my cooler toned shimmers, I wanted something that was like a nude, like a cooler nude type of shade. So I really love Nude Mauve from the Natasha Denona palette. This one is beautiful because it's a great nude shade. You can build it up, but I can also make it very like light and fluffy. And I feel like it would go nice with those purple type of shades. It's neutral enough that you could use it with that gold as well if you wanted to give it more of a cooler vibe. But I just really, really love that one. It's a shade that I reach into a ton. But I also knew that I wanted like a brown that was going to be a little bit warmer as well, because I wanted to be able to pull out like the warmness in the gold, or even if you go into Austin, you can get some warmth there. So I decided to reach into the Sigma palette, this is Beauty and the Beast, and go in with Cogsworth right here, because I knew that I wanted to have like a cooler aspect, but also a warmer aspect. And so this is, it's looking very neutral in my swatch, but it's warmer than the Nude Mauve. When you put them next to each other, you can see here's the Nude Mauve, you have the cooler vibe, here is Cogsworth, and it's warmer. So I really, really like that. I feel like that would be a good addition to my own personal palette. Oh, I think this is the one that I'm missing. I think I have my 10. I also wanted some shades that could be used to deepen up the eyeshadow look. So going into Flora's Story, which is a collab between my friend Amanda, Makeup Just for Fun, and Odin's Eye. And in here, I wanted to reach for her like deep purple shade right here, because I do have those purple hues with Democratic Design and Lavender. And so going in with Orchid, it's this beautiful, rich purple shade, and I felt like that would be a good one if people wanted to like deepen up their look. You know what I mean? And I did pull two matte shades from the last palette that I'm going to talk about, and it is the new one from Lunar Beauty, the Moonshroom collection, because being summer, I wanted something that was light and fun and airy. So I really like this Pixie Pop. I feel like it's a very great like vibrant purple, right? Like a lighter vibrant purple, not quite pastel, but not deep and dark. But then I feel like Death Cap would be a rich brown for people who wanted to use it as a liner or to deepen up their outer V or whatnot. So I thought that those would be a good addition to the little palette that I was creating myself as well. So this is what it's looking like on my wrist, very sloppy, but I want to show you what it looks like when I swatched it cohesively on my arm together. This is what the palette was looking like, and I do want to say I do feel like something is missing, okay? I do feel like I need some sort of maybe coral matte or like fiery red orange coral, something of the works. I was digging through my collection and I couldn't find anything quite like that, but I recently created this look with the Nomad Cosmetics Beachy and Peachy, like the Florida Keys palette. I created this like sunset eye, and I really, really loved it. And I would like, if I were to create my own summer palette, I would like to be able to like recreate that summer vibe. So that would be one that I'm missing here. And I'd be willing to switch out one of these browns for that, or even like maybe the deeper purple or even the deeper brown. Like I would be willing to switch it out because I like light and airy and fun. And I do feel like that's missing. But if I were to create a palette of my own, as of today, that's kind of what it's looking like. Again, I don't find myself to be very creative, so I don't know that it necessarily like meshes well or that the palette goes together well, but that's what I came up with. So that's gonna do it for this video. I hope that you guys found this sun-kissed summer eyeshadow palette tag fun. If you are a creator, I would love for you to recreate this. Stacy and I would love to see it. You can tag us. If you're not a creator, I would love for you just in the comments down below to share some of your favorites, or at least share like a favorite summer eyeshadow pick with us, okay? We would love to know. Thank you so much, Stacy, for asking me to collab, for coming up with this fun tag. It was so exciting to be a part of it. I really, really loved it. I can't wait to go hear Stacy's answers and see. I feel like we may have some differences here, so I'm excited to go watch that one. If you came from Stacy's channel, thank you so much for being here. Again, my name is Kelly. Listen, I'm just a mom. I'm just a teacher. I just love playing in makeup. So if you like playing in makeup, you're in the right spot. I would love to have you subscribe and be part of the fam. But we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna wrap this video up, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye. Brew, would you like to tell the people what your favorite kind of makeup is? Do you have a favorite kind of makeup? Do you like eyeshadow? Do you like lipstick?
Eyeshadow.
You like eyeshadow? What kind of eyeshadow is your favorite?
Black.
Black eyeshadow? Nice.